Hello everyone. Today we're exploring an essential topic in cybersecurity, system hacking. This is a technique used by hackers to gain unauthorized access to computer systems by exploiting vulnerabilities in software, networks, or even passwords. System hacking plays a critical role in cyber attacks, making it vital to understand how it works and how to defend against it. So, what exactly is system hacking, and what measures can we take to protect our systems from these attacks? But before we move on with this session, make sure that you have subscribed to our channel and clicked on this bell icon so that you may never miss on any update from us. So, what is ethical hacking and why is it important? As technology is growing at a very fast pace, so is the growth and the risk associated with it. So, to beat a hacker, it is necessary to think like one. Ethical hacking is necessary as it allows counterattacks from malicious hackers by anticipating methods used by them to break into a system. It helps to predict various possible vulnerabilities well in advance and also rectify them without incurring any kind of outside attack. As hacking involves creative thinking, vulnerability testing, and security audits alone cannot ensure that the network is secure. So, to achieve security, organizations must implement a defense in depth strategy by penetrating their networks to estimate and expose vulnerabilities. Now, some of the reasons why organizations recruit ethical hackers include to prevent hackers from gaining access to the organization's information systems, to uncover vulnerabilities in systems and explore their potential as a risk, to analyze and strengthen an organization's security posture, including policies, network protection infrastructure, and end user practices, to provide adequate preventive measures to avoid security breaches, to help safeguard the customer data, and also to enhance security awareness at all levels in a business. Now, let's understand what exactly is system hacking. System hacking is the process of testing computer systems and software for security vulnerabilities that an attacker could exploit to gain access to the organization's systems to steal or misuse sensitive information. System hacking is one of the most important and sometimes the ultimate goal of an attacker. The attacker acquires information through techniques such as footprinting, scanning, enumeration, and vulnerability analysis, and then uses this information to hack the target system. Now, the information collected from these techniques will include a list of valid usernames, email addresses, passwords, groups, IP range, operating system, hardware and software versions, shares, protocols, and services information, and other details. The more information an attacker can collect, the more precise an image of the target he or she will have. Now, the main purpose of system hacking is to gain access to a device or machine without permission. There are basically two ways to gain access. One is by cracking passwords, and the other is by exploiting vulnerabilities in the system. Password cracking is one of the first things hackers try to gain access to a system. It's all about breaking passwords stored in a system or transmitted over a network. Hackers either guess passwords manually or use automated tools like dictionary attacks or brute force methods. Most of the time, they succeed because people use weak or easy to guess passwords. Vulnerability exploitation is when hackers find weak spots in a system and then use them to gain access. It's a bit more complex than password cracking because first they need to discover the vulnerability, then create an exploit to attack the system, and finally execute the exploit to break in. An attacker can access access to the network using a non-admin user account, and the next step would be to gain administrative privileges. The attacker performs a privilege escalation attack that takes advantage of design flaws, programming errors, bugs, and configuration oversights in the OS and software application to gain administrative access to the network and its associated applications. These privileges allow the attacker to view critical sensitive information, delete files, or install malicious programs such as viruses, trojans, or worms. Now let's look at the types of privilege escalation. First is horizontal privilege escalation. In this type, the unauthorized user tries to access the resources, functions, and other privileges that belong to an authorized user who has similar access permissions. For instance, online banking user A can easily access user B's account. In a vertical privilege escalation, the unauthorized user tries to gain access to the resources and functions of a user with higher privileges, such as application or site administrators. For example, someone using online banking can access the site using administrative functions. Once attackers gain higher privileges, their next goal is to maintain long term access to the system without being detected. This stage involves several techniques. First, attackers exploit system vulnerabilities to execute malicious applications or arbitrary code. This helps them steal sensitive data, capture screenshots, exfiltrate information, or install backdoors for future access. They may execute these actions locally or remotely, a process often referred to as owning the systems. After executing malicious tasks, attackers hide their programs using techniques like rootkits, NTFS streams, or steganography. This prevents detection by security tools and ensures their hidden programs remain active for future access. To stay connected, attackers create persistence by tricking users into running malware loaded files or applications. This allows the malware to survive system reboots, replicates itself, and maintain a backdoor for continuous access while avoiding detection. Clearing logs is one of the main stages during system hacking. In this stage, the attacker tries to hide and avoid being detected or traced out by covering all tracks or logs generated while accessing the target network or computer. Erasing evidence is a must for any attacker who would like to remain obscure. It is a method used to evade a traceback. It starts with erasing the contaminated logs and possible error messages generated in the attack process. The attacker makes changes to the system configuration such that it does not log future activities. By manipulating and tweaking event logs, the attacker tricks the system administrator into believing that there is no malicious activity in the system and that no intrusion or compromise has taken place. Password cracking plays a key role in system hacking. It's all about breaking passwords to gain access to a system without permission. Hackers often use tricks that look like normal password recovery methods to crack passwords. There are 4 types of password attack based on how the attacker tries to break the password: non-electronic attacks, offline attacks, active online attacks, and passive online attacks. Non-electronic attacks are usually the first trick hackers try to gain access to passwords. These attacks don't need any technical skills. It's more about tricking people than hacking systems. Common techniques include shoulder surfing, social engineering, and dumpster diving. Offline attacks happen when hackers try to crack passwords without directly connecting to the system. They steal password hash dumps and then use special tools like rainbow tables to convert those hashes into plain text passwords. These attacks are usually done offline using powerful machines or distributed networks. Active online attacks are one of the easiest way hackers try to gain access to a system with admin privileges. In this method, the hacker directly communicates with the target system to crack passwords. They use different techniques like password guessing, brute force attacks, keyloggers, Trojan malware, and hash injection to break into the system. Some common methods include dictionary attacks and brute force attacks. Passive online attacks are when hackers silently listen to the data flowing between systems without making any changes. They don't interact with the system directly. Instead, they just monitor and record data like passwords or sensitive information. These attacks help capture sensitive information like passwords for later use. Hackers use techniques like wire sniffing, man in the middle, and replay attacks. LLMNR, Link Local Multicast Name Resolution, and NBT-NS, Net Buyers Name Service, help Windows computers find other devices on the same network if the DNS fails. These are on by default. Now, the problem, they don't check if responses are real. So, hackers use tools like Responder to pretend to be the device your computer is looking for. Your system then sends a login hash, NTLM-V2, to the hacker. Hackers save this hash and crack it later to get your password. Once they have it, they can log in and access your system. That wraps up today's video. If you found the content useful, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with others who might benefit. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop any questions or topic suggestions in the comments. Your feedback really helps us improve.